If women knew how hard it was for men to even get the slightest bit of respect from women nowadays, they would actually be shocked. Because it's not for no reason that men have given up on dating. It's not for no reason that men no longer try to deal with women. It's because they have tried so many times, and instead of just being rejected nowadays, they have to deal with being made fun of. They have to deal with women putting them down. They have to deal with the most ridiculous, disrespectful things ever. And because respect is such a crucial element for men, they would rather, instead of being disrespected again, just go and get themselves a dog.
Well, good morning to you too, Rozak. I think that's what you meant to say. But here we are. We're going to have a conversation about this comment. First of all, no, I don't need to reconsider anything. What I need is for men to stop telling me what I need. And that's what all women need, is for men to stop telling us what we need. We know what we need. We know what we want. That's number one. Number two, you are absolutely right. Women are on the losing end of dating these days. And it's not because men are done with dating. It's because women are done with men. We're done with the quality man who stops showing up for the dates. We're done with the men who are not looking to be an equal in the relationship, but they're looking for someone to take care of them. They're looking for someone to pay half the bills plus do all the housework. We're done with men taking advantage of us. Men are done with dating because they can no longer manipulate women to get what they need or want. So no, don't tell me what I need.
The problem with dating today is not just the apps or the ghosting. It's the culture that's been quietly reshaping expectations for years. Feminism and the hashtag #MeToo movement have done incredible things for accountability, no doubt. But somewhere along the way, the narrative got skewed. A lot of women are now listening to single voices, preaching caution and caution only. Voices that say men are manipulative, narcissistic, jealous, controlling. The list goes on. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. And here's the catch. These aren't just casual warnings. They've turned into a cultural lens through which women judge almost every man they meet. Suddenly, harmless flirtation, a simple disagreement, or even standard masculine behavior is framed as some sinister manipulation. Men aren't allowed to just be men without risk of being labeled toxic. Historically, relationships were messy, yes, but there was balance. Accountability existed on both sides. Now the pendulum swings hard, and men are quietly checking out. Why stick around when everything you do is scrutinized through a filter of assumed malice? You start to see why modern dating feels like a minefield. It's not about demonizing women. It's about exposing the consequences of unchecked narratives. When the loudest voices dictate the story, reality gets blurry. And what do men do when they see the rules keep changing while expectations stay sky high? They protect themselves. They withdraw. They reevaluate their worth. This isn't just a dating problem. It's a social shift, and the fallout is visible everywhere. Empty dates, ghosting, men saying no more. And yet, most of the people swept up in the drama don't even realize why it's happening. They just see a problem with men, not the cultural story that led to it.
Discourse about why doesn't my boyfriend propose to me? We've been together for such a long time, but he hasn't talked about marriage. He doesn't bring up the conversation. He actively avoids conversations around marriage and commitment, the next step. And I was just thinking about this. I don't know why I'm thinking about this today. Like, it's so random. Maybe I need to talk about this and somebody needs to hear this. So this relationship that I was in, like, a long time ago, like in my 20s. So my boyfriend at the time, like, he was very much like eager to talk about marriage. Like, he would always talk about like marriage. Like, he would like actively talk about us getting married. And anytime he would do that, I would like change the subject. I would just not really respond. I would like not really just react much because I did not want to marry him. Like, that sounds fucked up. Like, I didn't want to marry him. I knew I wasn't going to marry him. I even knew he was not real. Like, I didn't want to marry him. Oh my god, this is like so fucked up. Now looking back, I don't think I liked him that much. Like, I was just really heavily attached to this person. Like, it was anyways. Anyway, so it just logically thinking about it, right? Like, if you're talking about marriage and your partner is not really responsive, it's probably because they don't want to marry you. Like, even if they're like, you know, even if the issue is the logistics. Like, maybe you could say, okay, then they're not financially ready, like, so they're not really talking about it because they're not actually ready, like, financially. But I feel like it's, like, deeper than that. I think somebody can want to be with you and, like, enjoy the relationship for what it is right now. But, like, thinking about, like, long-term, like, marriage, commitment, like, I think that's, like, a huge step that people are not going to be comfortable with if they're not seeing that with you specifically. This is not really, like, professional advice. This is more like my personal opinion, because as I was like just thinking about this like memory, like I'm just cringing right now because on his behalf, but also for myself, like the fact that I was with someone that I didn't even like that much. Oh my god, like it's kind of like cringy because like I said, it's because of the attachment issues that I had. Of course, I was young, right? And so it's just funny like looking at it, like these relationships where people are with each other based on trauma bonds and attachment issues and codependency issues, they definitely exist. So I think what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're asking like why doesn't he want to marry me, like why is he not proposing, consider the fact that like he might not want to marry you, like me. I could want to be with you, not anymore. I don't have this mindset anymore. Like, you could very much want to be with someone but doesn't mean that you want to marry them.
Let's be real for a second. Men can read hesitation like a billboard on a highway. He didn't marry you because somewhere along the line, he sensed your doubts. Commitment isn't some random lottery. It's a calculated risk. And no man, no matter how in love, is going to stake his life on someone who seems unsure, distant, or only have... Think about it. When you act like an option, you are an option. Men aren't blind, and they aren't fools. They notice the subtle pullback, the half-hearted texts, the emotional unavailability. They sense when the energy isn't fully there, and they react accordingly. That's not cruelty. That's survival and emotional intelligence in action. Now, here's the kicker. Many women get shocked when men don't see them as forever. But let's unpack that. If you didn't show up as a forever partner, why would he commit? Love isn't just about feelings. It's about security, investment, and mutual alignment. Hesitation isn't just a mood. It's a signal, and men are wired to respond to signals, whether consciously or subconsciously. This is where a lot of delusion creeps in. Women wonder why he just disappeared or never made a move, but the answer was there all along. You set the stage with half-hearted presence, and you can't be surprised when the script doesn't end the way you imagined. It's not manipulation, it's consequence. And understanding that is the first step toward seeing modern dating for what it really is, a mirror of your own investment, choices, and energy.
All right, I'm going to say it. Some of y'all aren't going to like it. Doesn't make it any less true. Here we go. A lot of really good men are leaving marriages. Why is that? Is it because they fell out of love, or is it something else? A lot of what we're seeing now is men leaving marriages, not because they've fallen out of love, but because they feel unappreciated within that marriage. Now, these guys, they work all day, they provide, they make sure you're safe, they make sure you're taken care of. What do they get in return? A lot of them are getting criticism for what they didn't do, as opposed to the thankfulness for what they did. Men are not like women. They don't need a big show of affection. They don't need a parade. They don't need constant gifts. But what they do need is appreciation, gratitude, respect. What they want to hear is that the person they're working so hard for, or the family that they're working so hard for, to say, we appreciate all that hard work you're putting in. We see you. When a man feels unappreciated at home, doesn't matter how much he loves you, at a certain point, he can't keep continuing to pour from an empty cup. He's going to stop trying to pour into a cup that's continually empty. He's out.
Let's get one thing straight. Men aren't checking out because they stopped caring. That's the first misconception modern culture loves to spread. The truth? Men are leaving because the foundation of what makes a relationship worth staying in is disappearing. Appreciation, respect, and peace, the three pillars of emotional safety, are no longer present, and men feel it every day. Think about it. Love without respect is exhausting. Devotion without appreciation is demoralizing. And a relationship without peace, That's chaos 24/7. Men aren't walking away because they're cold or unfeeling. They're walking away because staying costs more than it gives. They're tired of investing in a dynamic where their efforts are ignored, mocked, or undervalued. This isn't just a personal issue, it's a cultural trend. The louder narratives tell men to be emotionally open, ambitious, and attentive, but then punish them for not meeting impossible standards or for failing to read subtle, shifting expectations. Combine that with social conditioning that celebrates female independence but often discourages gratitude and compromise, and you've got a recipe for mass male withdrawal. Men are leaving silently. They're recalibrating. They're prioritizing their peace over pleasing someone who no longer acknowledges their worth. And here's the kicker most don't see. This exodus isn't a rejection of women in general. It's a rejection of conditions that make love feel transactional, exhausting, and unrewarding. In short, love alone isn't enough. Without respect, appreciation, and peace, even the strongest man will eventually close the door. And that's exactly what we're seeing across the board today.
Here's the thing. We want men to be husbands. We want the rings and the things. But family, we cannot advocate for marriage without addressing the full picture, the elephant in the room. Women aren't bred to be wives today. Past generations have raised us up to pursue a career. Forget the man. He's an afterthought. Because when the man act up, you have an out, that degree that you can fall back on. And now, family, we have women who have been bred to be more of a husband than a wife. Let's keep it real. What is society teaching us? Look at the propaganda. Look at the social media. We can't continue to come at men for their lack of commitment, but not also state the obvious. There's a shortage of women worth making long-term or lifelong commitments to. We aren't training up wives. We're training up hypersexual, petty, money-hungry, cannot take any accountability, insecure, immature, women that can't even cover a pot, let alone a man. Women with the mentality that anything goes as long as I'm making $1 from it. Hyper independent, attention seeking, career obsessed, not nurturing, selfish, girlfriend at best women. We want men to lock things down. And I agree, men should. But we gotta give them something worth committing to. And our media isn't pushing that agenda. It's keeping us single. So family, ladies, stop buying the lies of culture.
Here's the hard truth that nobody wants to say out loud. We might already be past the point of easy recovery. Men aren't just stepping back individually. They're stepping back generationally until a new wave of women is raised with genuine family values, with lessons in respect, trust, and partnership. Marriage as an institution isn't going to feel worth the risk. Think about it. Commitment isn't just a feeling or a legal document. It's a gamble. And men are reading the signs everywhere. Relationships that should be safe are filled with drama, distrust, and shifting standards. The idea of marriage loses its appeal when the cultural context signals that the investment might not pay off, that loyalty may not be matched, and that the effort could be wasted. This isn't some exaggeration. Look at patterns across communities, social media, and everyday interactions. Men are quietly withdrawing, teaching younger men to protect themselves first. They're modeling a new reality where peace, respect, and appreciation are non-negotiables. And if those aren't present, they don't engage. So the question isn't just why men are leaving now, it's why marriage might feel like a risk no one wants to take in the future. Until foundational values are reintroduced and consistently reinforced, we're watching a slow cultural shift, one where trust is scarce, commitment is questioned, and the traditional family structure is becoming a fading option rather than a default expectation. This isn't pessimism, it's observation. And if we ignore it, the lessons we're seeing now will echo into the next generation.
You ever hear women ask, why don't men want to get married anymore?
Is it just me, or you be talking to somebody or even dating somebody, right? And be so in love, like just love this motherfucker. See absolutely no wrong in them, just love them. Then one day you're just like, I don't like you no more. We could be having a good day. And I just be like, I don't like you no more. I don't like the person you are. I don't like the way you move. I don't like the way you think. I just don't like you. So I want to leave. Just like that. Like, I want to go. I don't want to talk anymore. Is that just me?
Does any other woman who dates and deals with men wake up on a Sunday morning and be like, oh fuck, I'm the problem? Because that's me today. I realized that I am the issue. I called a guy at 2 a.m. last night, told him to come over. Okay, all right. He's a roster member. I call him Little Chico, and I do in fact call him that to his face. What are you gonna do? Anyways, all right, Nicole. And he said when he was leaving, looking forward to the next 2 a.m. call. And I go, oh fuck. Oh, wow. And last night I also gave my number to a bartender on my receipt. And he texted me, hey, how you doing? What's up? Okay. Nicole, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I'm like, as a girl who complains about fuckboys a lot, I'm like, I think I'm the issue. I'm the fuck girl. Oh my God. So I guess next steps are, do I do something about it? I just don't really have time right now. Like I'm a little stressed and that's fine, but I just don't really have time to date. I don't know. So that's why I'm like, do I just keep fucking around and just doing this shit? I don't know. Also last night was a night where I was like, oh, I'm not going out. Obviously I end up out. So yeah, I realize I'm the problem and probably gonna keep going. Love these chips. All right, bye.
Sis, listen. I know there are times that we make mistakes with our coochies. Don't worry, you're not alone. All you need to do is reset that kitty. Reprogram that coochie. Clear your coochie cache. You have to remember that you are the master of your domain. You are the queen of your motherfucking castle. And also remember that if it didn't feel good, it doesn't fucking count. Fuck I look like. I'm not adding that to my body count. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, bestie! You're wrong. I think it's time for another adult pre-K lesson. What do you think? All right, turn your listening ears on. Zoop, catch a bubble in your mouth. Good job. Okay, here's the thing. Having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking, or wakes up early in the morning, or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, that's fatphobic. Just like lumping all black people in one group and saying, I don't like black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs are hot is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Siri, why am I single?
Maybe if you'd stop being a stupid bitch and reply to the people that actually show interest in you instead of chasing someone that you know.
The most eye-opening thing I ever learned about men was from my college human sexuality class, where the professor told us that men don't actually like women. Not all men. Sure, but hang in. He said that the way that our society socializes boys to, quote, become men is not to tell them how to be men, it's just to teach them how to not be women. Don't cry, be a man. Don't be a pussy, be a man. Don't be weak, be a man. Don't be sensitive, be a man. Don't like those things. Those are girl things. And the tool we use to do that kind of socializing, to steer them away from feminine things, is shame. And you just can't go your whole life being told that the worst thing you could do is be like a woman and expect to actually like women at the end of that. But they are also taught that their sexual attractiveness to women and their ability to get women is a status symbol in front of other men. So they will sexually pursue women, but they don't actually like them as people. This is how patriarchal masculinity socializes men, and why shame, violence, and disgust are so intricately linked.
I find it really interesting that men say stuff like this and then in the same breath complain about how the penal system isn't fair to men, or how family courts aren't fair to men, or how male victims don't have a lot of recognition or mental health resources. Like, who did that?
So I'm not going to pretend I have any answers for this male loneliness epidemic thing going on, because I feel like it's a complex issue, and also some of those guys, it is their fault, and then others it's not. But something I've always found really interesting is that in platonic female friendships, women are very strongly encouraged to give each other a lot of both emotional and physical love and support. And I'm not saying that every woman has friends like that and no men have friends like that. I'm just talking about like what's generally encouraged by society. During the time periods in my life where I've been single, at least as an adult, I've never felt lonely or alone, and never felt a rush to get into a relationship because I have a lot of physical and emotional love and support from my female friends around me. I get a lot of hugs, I get a lot of compliments, I get a lot of like, you are important to me and I value you in my life, let's spend time together, etc. But I was talking to a male friend about this recently, and he was saying that the last time that he got like a genuine hug from a man was when he was like 12. And so the only real genuine physical contact that he ever gets is if he's either hooking up with or in a relationship with a woman. And ironically, the guys I know who do treat their friendships like that are often made fun of for being feminine. Again, I'm not presenting this as like an answer to a problem or something, it's just something relevant that I've been thinking about.
Accepting that you are most likely going to be alone for the rest of your life is a really hard pill to swallow. And it's not even because there's anything wrong with me or that I am not deserving. I'm just tired. I've spent most of my life recovering from men who have caused so much trauma. My physical brain cannot handle anymore. It is always in survival mode. It is always in fight or flight mode. My brain has never fully recovered from the trauma that has been caused. I meet guys and I feel like I'm constantly looking for a reason to not trust them because I have never experienced a good man before. Like, I've never been in a good, healthy relationship. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know what to look for. I don't know what is normal. I've never experienced normal. How am I supposed to know? And now I'm 37 and every man that I meet is disappointing and doesn't add value to my life, doesn't make me happy, and I just don't want to settle anymore. How do I know if someone is the one? I mean, is there something wrong with me? I question it all the time, but I know that I'm just fucking traumatized. What does a loving man feel like? What does a healthy relationship feel like? What does it feel like when you have found your person? I've been in so many relationships, long relationships, and no one has ever added value to my life or made me feel like I was enough. And it makes me sad that I have never gotten to experience this. It genuinely makes me sad. But I just don't know if it actually exists. So I will probably be alone. And that scares me, but I am slowly accepting that this is probably my fate. And I need to learn to love myself, and I need to tell myself that that is enough, that I don't need a partner to be whole. And that is my journey right now. I'm not an expert. I am not putting expert advice into the world. This is just my journey and what I'm going through right now. And if you're going through the same, you're not alone. I don't know, maybe that's my purpose, to learn to be on my own and let others know.
Let's talk about contradiction, the modern relationship paradox that keeps men and women spinning in circles. Some women genuinely long for love, connection, and partnership, yet at the same time, they actively dodge responsibility for their choices. They point fingers at men for problems they helped create, framing chaos and drama as empowerment. It's a mindset that confuses self-interest with liberation. Here's the irony. They romanticize trauma, confusion, and instability, turning heartbreak into a badge of honor, a story that somehow elevates them. But then, when real peace, loyalty, and commitment show up, they're puzzled, frustrated, even disappointed. They wonder, why doesn't he commit? Yet the walls they've built around themselves make emotional intimacy impossible. And make no mistake, these walls aren't just physical or situational. They're psychological. They're habits, expectations, entitlement, and defense mechanisms wrapped into a neat package. A man can want to give, but if every gesture is met with skepticism, criticism, or emotional distance, he eventually stops trying. Loyalty and commitment don't thrive in environments that confuse chaos with empowerment. This isn't about blaming women outright. It's about exposing a hard social truth. Self-sabotage disguised as self-assertion is a major factor in why relationships fail. Until awareness replaces contradiction, until reflection replaces denial, Many women will keep wondering why they can't find peace with the very thing they claim to desire. And men, they're learning fast. They're learning fast. They're leaving quietly, choosing spaces where their energy is valued, their effort appreciated, and their loyalty met with trust instead of suspicion.
Question is, why are men saying no to marriage? Good question. Let's get into it, family. Number 1, perception of the loss of freedom. I pray that none of you guys choose a spouse that makes you feel like you have to lose yourself in order to be with them. Number 2, fears about potential divorce. Number 3, unwillingness to make the sacrifices that marriage requires. Number 4, men today can get the benefits of a connection with a woman without commitment. Thank you, modern dating. Number 5, there is not a lot of messaging about how marriage actually benefits men. Based upon what we see in media, it seems like it's just a contractual agreement that benefits women. But we know there are some benefits, and there are some strong male voices in the men's space have and still advocate for marriage. Again, y'all, I know this ain't popular, but I do believe the enemy is at work in our marriages and in destroying families, and I don't want him to win.
Modern marriage often feels like a losing deal for men, filled with stress, imbalance, and emotional exhaustion in today's culture.
Prenup should de-incentivize both parties from divorcing. Or the prenup should de-incentivize both parties from cheating. If you do that, I think that can actually help the situation. And so that's where there's a problem. It's like men are now getting married at 30, and they're getting married to women who don't really want them, who are like settling. Sheryl Sandberg, she had the quote is like, hey, when you're young, date them all, date the hot guy and the fun guy. But when you're older, date the guy who thinks that taking out the trash is sexy or whatever. And it's like, bro, I'm supposed to wait while you run through all these dudes. And then when I'm 30, I'm going to settle down with you after you've been through all these, after you've rocked the bartender. I'm like, I'm not going to wait. That's crazy. And so the thing is, if you believe men should wait, then there is no crisis. But the divorce rate is skyrocketing.
Do you know, is there a divorce rate statistic for if you get married in your 20s versus 30s for the first time?
Yes, so it's higher divorce rate between 20 and 25. It lowers between 25 and 32, and then after 32, it goes back up.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's not a huge.
It's not like it just doesn't matter.
Divorce in general is pretty prevalent with all marriages, but there's another interesting statistic. This is one that really pisses people off. So there's a 56% divorce rate, and 80% of divorces are initiated by women. So
80%?
80%. So when 70 to 80%. Whenever I talk to women about this, their obvious next reaction is, well, of course, because it's the men's fault. The men do this, the men do that, the men do whatever. And I'm like, okay, what if we ran an experiment where we controlled for men? So a way to do that would be to look at same-sex couples, gay men and lesbian women. What is their divorce rate? So what should happen is, if it's men's fault, is that homosexual men should get divorced at a higher rate than lesbian women. And the opposite is true. Lesbians get divorced at twice the rate that homosexual men do. So when women don't even have men to blame, they are leaving.
Let's break down a pattern that often gets overlooked. Most divorces are initiated by women. Now take that statistic and look at it through a wider lens. Higher divorce rates in lesbian couples suddenly start to make sense. Patterns like these aren't the coincidences. They reveal deeper, underlying relationship dynamics that go beyond gender alone. When women are driving the majority of breakups, it points to a recurring theme: dissatisfaction, unmet expectations, and a lower tolerance for compromise. In heterosexual relationships, men often exit quietly or withdraw first. But statistically, women are the ones pulling the trigger when the relationship no longer serves their perceived needs or ideals. Transpose that into same-sex relationships, and you see similar dynamics at play. The same desires, the same thresholds for frustration, just mirrored in a different context. This isn't about blaming women. It's about noticing patterns and understanding the psychological mechanics behind relationship breakdowns. There's a recurring motif of expectation versus reality that plays out across heterosexual and homosexual relationships alike. If appreciation, respect, and emotional fulfillment aren't present, the partnership collapses, period. For men watching this, it explains a lot about why withdrawal has become a survival mechanism. And for women, it's a wake-up call. Relationships aren't just about desire or feeling validated. They're about consistent mutual effort and emotional accountability. Ignore that, and the cycle repeats regardless of orientation.
Where's Britt? Where's Brett?
Right here. I'm right here. Hi, Steve. Thank you for having us, and thank you for having all of them, for sure.
Okay, you have a question?
So a few years ago, I was in a relationship for about 2 years, and I really thought I saw a future with this guy, but talking about it was totally off limits. I remember one time we were at a restaurant, and we were sitting next to this amazing family, and I just commented on how cute they were, and just generally brought up the idea of marriage. After that, his entire demeanor changed, and he got really, really quiet. I know. And then another time, we were walking past a jewelry store, and I just kind of pointed out a ring that I like. After that, the day was ruined. I said a ring. But the final straw came when we were at a friend's wedding, and of course, I caught the bouquet of flowers. But after that, he demanded that we leave, like right then and there. He demanded we had to go. So I guess I'm just wondering, why do men avoid the topic of marriage unless it's forced onto them?
Okay, this is what we did, ladies. Before the show, we had our 2,000 guys answer a survey filled with these types of burning questions from women. So we asked, why do men avoid the talk of marriage unless it's forced? So is it A, women are usually ready before us? B, we don't avoid it, we're not just stressed about it? Or C, because we be okay with it never happening? The results are in. Nearly half say B. They don't avoid it. They just don't stress over it. At the end of the day, let me share a couple things with you, lady. For every woman that needs a man, there's a man that needs you too. That's a given. We want the right one. We do not stress over the marriage because the marriage is the day of your dreams. Our dream is the woman of our dreams. Now, if we can get you without giving you a day, then cool, jackpot. We got you. We got what we want. But this guy.
Good men today often enter marriage with hope, commitment, and a genuine desire to build a life together. But very quickly, reality sets in, and it's exhausting. Once commitment begins, many of them feel unwanted, undervalued, and emotionally drained. The very institution that was supposed to provide stability and partnership ends up leaving them questioning their own worth. It's not just emotional toll, it's practical too. Many men feel the strain financially, emotionally, and socially. They invest in their families, relationships, and futures only to watch peace, trust, and even their finances slip away. Over time, the weight of unreciprocated effort and constant scrutiny pushes men to withdraw, leaving them caught between loyalty and self-preservation. This isn't a narrative about men being cold or unfeeling. It's about showing a side of commitment that rarely gets discussed. The silent burnout, the slow erosion of energy, and the quiet questioning of whether the sacrifices are truly worth it. And as more men quietly step back or rethink their engagement with marriage, we're seeing a larger cultural shift, one where men are protecting their peace before anyone else's, and reevaluating the traditional promises of commitment in a world that increasingly undervalues them. So, if this resonates, drop your thoughts below. Share your experiences, your observations, because understanding these dynamics is the first step toward seeing modern relationships for what they really are: complex, high stakes, and demanding more awareness than ever before.